Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if I'm audible.
Yeah, yeah.
Little
Little
weather.
whether I
Ready?
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your
Is your
audio.
audio?
Your audio is
Audio is
My audio is bad.
yes.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a glitch. That audio. Uh, let's see. Is there a way you can fix the audio? I mean, if you are any if you mute, it's okay, but it's only when you want to speak that it comes with the
Okay, let's do it this way. Whenever I want to speak, I put it on. When I finish speaking, I put it off.
yeah. I mean, even when you speak, we can hardly hear you because of the glitch that comes with the audio. I think you are using external speaker, if I'm not mistaken.
No, not external speaker.
Oh man, it's really bad. It's really bad. It's clear, but it's a glitch that comes with a very difficult noise too. Ah, anyway, good morning, good morning, good morning, and it's been a good afternoon same already. For me, it's already just 11 o'clock in the morning from Texas. I don't know, though, for those who are following American news or politics, there's a tug of war going on between the federal government, and the state of Texas over border, which is interesting. And we had issue with our borders in Nigeria during I mean, not just during any president, even up to today, but only the federal government has a say. So Texas are saying that since the federal government is not taking a proactive measure to stop the open border policies that let the immigrants walk in their millions, according to them, so they will take action. So they started building fence by themselves, building obstacles to, but the federal government agency came and destroyed it. They said they don't have the right. So they will going back and forth. But as at today, the Texas state government have found a clause in the constitution that says state, every state in the union have the right to defend their border. But not just that, they also have the right to collaborate with other states to defend their border, which is very interesting. So we have so many states like Texas, Arkansas, Arizona, North Dakota, Wyoming. So a lot of them who are currently want to come together and take the battle. So I'm highlighting this to see that we are still far away from what we set out or what our those who. That's why I keep asking, who are those people that actually bring the system of the presidential system for us? So we are still far away from that. That's why I keep calling for dual sovereignty. There's a need for every state to have its own sovereignty. It's not everything federal government with the popular. So it is now it's battle of a constitution. They are hopefully we will not see the federal government armen and the state armen face of start shooting themselves. I hope we not get to that. But that's to tell you how democracy is practiced, and I'm very sure that those who envision our current system, this is what they saw, and we might have to fight for it since literally there's autonomy. I think in the constitution, I'm talking about Nigeria, it's clearly stated that federal, state, and local government should have their dealings separately. But it's as if since these autogenerations who are the architect of the constitution want to start their time out with the constitution and if possible let their upstream continue with it. So we have to find a way to come together and fight for that. Like all these people where they fight for, I want to be president, I want to be leave Nigeria. That's the first step. You first of all make sure you break the federal government into pieces. Let every state have its own say. Zamfara say na Sharia, they won't use government themselves. Fine. Many people say now do and they won't refer to. So be it. Everybody has a way. By the time competition begin, the Odudu and man begins to come. Plus, the Sharia style, they favor these of our people. They are progressing. We are seeing they are innovating. They are doing good things. Oduduwa people no get just that to declare Sharia too, right? If that's what we, that's exactly how it should be run. We should be competing in a very healthy way, and we allow few things for federal government to continue, something like monetary policy, international diplomacy, military, other things. But every other thing that has to do with daily living of the average citizen should be tied to his immediate environment. Not be say you go all the way to federal. So if you are paying attention to what is going on in America, or if you are just hearing about it, do your reading, Google it. Texas and the state of the federal government of America. But again, there's also politics to it. Now election period, getting really hot. Three things. One, if you actually want to understand American presidential polity system, just know more about immigration, gun control, and healthcare. These three things, now hold the whole America together, and these three things they will never be solved. Nobody they can solve it. They will never be solved because now the only thing because of the way the federation is being run, because the way now union they see they call out because every state that is on autonomy. The only thing that literally join everybody together now healthcare, immigration, and gone. So there's a need for them to keep it loose so that they could use that in the campaign. So it should not be anything of a surprise or shock. Don't be panic with all this braha. Come all of a sudden the conversation about immigration is heating up and it's going. And on my election doctor, so who have the best argument will win. Then as time goes on, we'll see. Something will happen. They will begin talking about guns. I just hope it should not be things that we are used to already, which is school shooting and all that. But something is going to happen, and the gun discussion will take with gun debates will take over immigration again, and we'll still win over that. Before you know, something about health has to do. So these three things is what is the problem of America, and they just know it's not that they cannot solve it, but what's the point of solving it when it's the only thing that keep the conversation of presidency global in a way, because that's another thing people are not paying attention to. This presidential system has money involved. Yes, the actors, the players are spending money. But guess what? Money is also being made coming into America after all the whole world is using dollar, right? Because it is going to be one of the most talked about events of today, of this year. It has started already. The year finish, the whole world will be talking about America, and that's big business. That's your point. That's the branding. So whether one way or the other, the whole world will be tense in the last minute. How they ever they put them off is something I'm still studying. But maybe I know to bow now. much. Yes, talking about opposition party because as it is, Bola Tinubu is everywhere. When I mean everywhere, literally everywhere. Everybody is bound. Everybody don't succumb to his supremacy. Yeah, the guy is something else. So and the few other ones who, of course, they have to, in order for them to keep the power within their grip, they have to form opposition within themselves, and then carry every other person along. And that's the problem we are having in Nigeria. When are the poor people going to rise and form their own opposition? When we keep hoping on Atiku, Obi, Wonkoso, and the likes, it's not going to change. These people have been the scheme of things from the beginning. Pat Otomi, for instance, is credited himself, the user and brag. He's been part and parcel of people who started 1999. The constitution is there. I mean, the political parties. He's the architect of third parties that kicked PDP out 2015. He's also the founding member of this current third party obedient movement and the rest. So he's there, and this is a man who has been advisor to the president in his 20s. So he's part of the establishment. He cannot do without it. So that is his job. I think it's high time we begin to understand everybody's role in this so-called governing elite. Everybody get a role. You don't necessarily have to be in government to have a role to play to maintain the power structure. Actually everybody wants to be in public sphere. Some just want to maintain their billions codedly, but they are in within the government how things work in Nigeria. They don't just want to be in public. They just want to make their billions quietly and enjoy their life, fly around, live lavishly, do whatever. That's some people's role. Part of Toby's roles coming from the intellectual background as a credential candidate, he has to put that to use. Instead, the talker, I'm not being a conspirator here now. In the talker, how close he was or still is with Tinubu, how we are able to design the APC constitution and all that. So, and again, you know, and this, I think, if any young people are listening to the, when I mean young people, Gen Zs, they don't know all these things. Part of time himself has contested to be a president in 2007. He lost. He contested to be governor. They show him how the game is played. So I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but he's part of the structure. He's the part of the existing structure. His contribution to the success of this power structure cannot be overstated. No, you can't. You can't just take him out, right? So it's that time we start looking within ourselves. And for me, as far as I'm concerned, leader is not. We don't need leader. When we get to the bridge, leader will come outside. We need to organize. We need to have a goal. We need to start forming opposition parties instead of waiting for all these people. Right? It's clearly now when I use the honor politics, people think I was stupid. People think I played too much. I don't know what I was saying. But no, some politics they all one. All of them. Maybe now let's show I would say, okay, is a branch on his own. And that's why pretty much all of them have one way just to keep him, keep hammering the guy. He's not up to par, which is okay. But it's that time we start asking ourselves questions. Where was Ponkoso 20 years ago? Where is he 10 years ago? Where is he today? Where was Obi 20 years ago? Where was Obi 10 years ago? Where is Obi today? Where is Atiku 20 years ago? When you begin to ask questions like you will find out that they were all on the same lane. They just as the demographic change, as the game changes, themselves they diversify their role. Before the election of 2023 takes shape, I say probably to people, a big job is to time the youth. I often counter people they tell me, this election 2023, things don't change, people don't be interested, you don't wake up. I always draw to their attention. As soon as these things don't change, so are the political party. You have more players now. There's a reason why. They make sure they spread themselves around. It's a game, but we fell for a big job is to time the Nigerian youth, put them for one place, be in charge of that, and he's doing well. They are all the same. Now they come back together again, one form one opposition party. Atiku will be the head.
Is it all right
There is
now?
no way Atiku will not be the flag bearer. So Obi too has to even fight to be the running mate.
Is my
All
is my
coming back
audio is
together.
my
So
audio
yes,
all right?
Mister.
Is my
Yes,
audio
go
all
ahead.
right? Is my audio all right?
It's better now. It's better now. Go ahead.
Okay, no, you just go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay. I said you should go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, okay. On the comment section, we have Prima Ike Otonye, sorry, no verse if I key or destroy on you. Good evening, my guy. I greeted you, my brother. On our policies, yes, so make we again. If we should take 2 weeks out, more and not listen to news. Just 2 weeks. Detach yourself from news. You will see everything. Everything are the same. It just stands still. They just a bit around the bush. They tell you what not. Now, conversation between North, who get Nigeria, who get rights, who get population pass, who they control Nigeria, where all you supposed to, where they supposed to. That is their problem. And this is the conversation that is going on between the elites, talking about the Ali Ndume, the former CBN governor. Sanusi said, come and say the tricky man. This is the conversation we are having in Nigeria. The king just said in the tone and he fly out. Made the made the rest servants them begin just talk rubbish. We will debate nonsense all year round. Then once somebody will come and say be Messiah, I'm going to change things. How? What are you changing? What are the signs that you want to change things? We no get electricity, but they say infrastructure are being built based on what? What is going to power those infrastructure? But of course, because we like so much noise, we key into their argument. Key into the argument. Tata, somebody will come and say, yes, you know the history of Nigeria. No be Fulani people get down. No. Now you get down. You will get down. Alpha. Who doesn't now get down? Anthony Blinken visited Abuja before he take off. Your president is running the Taskata. That is not something of interest to our elite. They're not interested in discussing what this man can do in the first place. Nobody is telling us anything. They expect to rely on what we see them rambling on TV. Our journalists are not interested. Tinubu just take off and left. Nobody cares. If you're saying I'm booking a Fulani man now, my God. That I know they will sabi grammar. We don't care. But as I said, give us another year. They go down the 2027 will hit us behind the face. One of these faces will come and say, he get the solution. When you spend the last 3 years, they discuss nothing but rubbish. A discussion that will not move us forward. And when I say stop listening to news, now because now them get now their narrative, that is what they want us to engage on. Now kick me out from one man went to more show. Come on, free man. I don't know. No verse. Ibrahim say you know me well, but I don't know you. So to say we kick you out of one man show, where was this? You must be a very familiar face. So the hopeless opposition. That's what I titled it. Hopeless opposition. We are hopeless. We are hopeless not just because there is no hope. You wake up because we rely on few these people when they rant on TV, they figure them about us. Think they know I don't know the way. Part of Tommy is running around already. Running around trying to form a opposition party. It's just I don't understand. We dey wait. We are expecting Obi to come out and form or get another phrase. Maybe we'll continue with consumption to production. I expect Konkoso self to come out, wing flying, Konkosia. The same thing. And I don't blame them. I will do the same thing too because it's working. We all fooling around. And again, when I say I'm now beginning to see the reason why Nnamdi Kanu just is short of vocabulary than to call people on printed names. Because it's just ridiculous. It is 2024. Ignorance is no longer it's no longer it's a choice, but it's no longer acceptable. We are bombarded with information every day. All of us get phone. If we just switch off the news, and after 1 to 3 days, your curiosity will set in, and you begin to explore your curiosity. Most of those curiosity has to do with question. Why is this? Why is this person always do this? You will be all these things will begin, and that will begin to lead you to the right books, to the right people to listen to, the right podcast, to the right. But until you switch off their news, you will be blind. You go to say that the waiting that they tell you now be the right thing. No, they have no idea. I keep saying it. Arise platform is a typical example. All you need to know, the owner of Arise is in bed with the government, and then bring this government to power with their resources and their antics. But again, the men with the marketing department and the front desk, likes of Abati and go. They will tell you they graduate for London School of Journalism. My brother,
I hear you.
I
Longest
greeted
time.
you. Oh, now you. Oh, now you are the first victim of. Now you be the first victim. But not with this name in the bear. Not the name in the bearing.
On a politics. What's up, bro?
That is your sitting position exactly. So, but
you guys keep me out now from what man want to watch show, because I normally talk through there. So the guy just blocked me from chatting, from everything. I left his studio anyway. I have been watching you backstage, I like listening to you, when those days we used to meet there, you always on this your politics, and it's good that you keep it up. Whenever I saw you on stage, I say, yeah, this is my guy on our politics. How about your dread? Why are you off? You are backstage now. Can't see you. On your camera now.
Now walk a day, actually they break. Now
Okay.
Oh, don't worry, okay. I did.
Yeah, I see you, man, with your dread. Yeah. What's up, bro?
Not too much, man. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, nice. We are still on, man. That's good.
So how's it? How you sitting? So how you sitting?
Yeah, this is where they land us. Finally, this is where they land us. Those days we keep saying all these things, but I don't know.
Wait,
people
sorry.
don't understand.
Maybe can you adjust your audio, your speaker? I don't know. Come out clear like that.
Oh, really? Let me see.
We can hear
you hear me now?
Yeah, but there's a discomfort sound coming in between.
Really?
But I'm hearing him clearly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead then. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Nigerian politics is, everybody knows the game, and them that on top, they're playing the game. We we stay behind the screen. We only blah blah blah. We can just talk the way we keep talking. Then we can't do anything. I hope they are watching us. They are in their offices now watching us, and as they are watching us, do you know what they are saying? Forget about those guys. Let them just talk. But we are crying because we feel the pains. It's only who wear the shoes know where it pains him. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. They are the people doing what they are doing. Okay, imagine their president Tinubu. He left everything, just ran to France, enjoying. Who know what he's doing there? Maybe taking a cup of tea or playing ladies, or maybe he's in the club right now, but see what is going on in his country. He don't care. He don't care. He don't care. Man, it's obvious that every day, it's we that what the shoe nowhere is paining us. But we have to keep shouting. The problem is this: those people there, you can't see them talking. Whenever they come to talk, they will just, they don't care whatever we are talking about now. They don't care. They only do what they want to do. Just look what happened at Jos. Nobody's talking about it. Just like you said, Tinubu left Nigeria and went to France. Nobody's talking about it. They are not questioning him because that's their game. That is a PC game. We need change. We need change. This is the change. The masses are suffering too much, man. It's too much. Oh, na politics, bro. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sorry. Yes, sorry. Mr. James, you wanted to respond. You are raising up your hand.
Yeah, I saw it.
Mr. James.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you see, if you still remember, around 2022 on Symphony TV, where we used to appear those days, I was always hammering the point that there was no need for the 2023 election. The election should be cancelled. I said it so many times. Ovi was there on a number of occasions, but somehow people do not believe me. There was no need for that election. I said it almost 50 to 100 times. There's no need. There was no need for that election. We should fix the country first. After fixing the country, then we can talk of elections. I even predicted that if we are not careful, the election will plunge us into a civil war. One of my submissions. But anyway, luckily, we did not get to that stage of declaring a civil war. What I've been saying is this: since independence till now, it is the same class of people that are mismanaging the country, the same class of people. Not until that class is overthrown, we will not get to the promised land. When I say overthrow, I don't mean overthrowing Bola Tinubu. If Tinubu should drop dead today, this problem will still continue.
For sure.
It is that class we should wipe out from the political arena before we'll be able to find our direction. And also, one thing again is this: Bola Tinubu is in France now. Why did he go to France? What's his name? Is it Blinken or what they call him? Blinken was in Nigeria not long ago. Somebody, I think on Channels or Arise TV, was making a very reasonable analysis. There's problem in Niger. There's problem in Niger Republic. The French have been flushed out of that place. That has been their mine. They used to mine uranium virtually free of charge. It has affected the French economy very badly. And the Western countries, they are all one. They are teaming up together to see what they can do to rescue one of them in very deep shit at the moment. So his visit to Nigeria must not be unconnected with the problem in Niger. They are mapping out strategies to see what they can do to flush out these guys from office and return to what it used to be.
Yeah.
Immediately, the Blinken left Nigeria. If he has left, Bola Tinubu jumped into his plane and went straight to Paris. to see the French prime minister, whatever they call it, or president. So that's one of the reasons why this guy was in Nigeria. And one thing also we should understand is that whenever we are analyzing African problems, not only Nigeria, all African countries, there's something they are not factoring into their analysis. That is foreign interference in our internal affairs. No African country normally factor these things into it. Why is it that over 60 years of independence, no African country is making any headway, not even South Africa, with the substantial investment the white men left there, although their treasury was empty while they were living, but they are still mining gold, diamond, uranium, asbestos in South Africa. What is happening to the money? So foreign interference in our internal affairs is one thing people should factor into this problem.
Oh my God! Excuse me, I have a call.
Okay. Yes, because if you look at the history of Africa, you discover that whenever we have any reasonable African leader, they don't know peace. I've mentioned this very many times before. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, he was very lucky to even escape. He was overthrown in 1966 when he was somewhere in the Far East. What's his name? Thomas Sankara was killed in Burkina Faso. Patrice Lumumba of Congo was killed. Robert Mugabe did not know peace till he died. Mengistu Haile Mariam of Ethiopia, the same thing. The guy did not know peace. In our case in Nigeria, Murtala Mohammed, as I said, I think on this program some time ago, on February 13th, 1976, the day the man was killed by Suka Buka Dinka and his gang, the morning of that day, February 1976, Suka Buka Dinka, the leader.
I think his network froze. Rational Mind, Rankadede. Rational Mind, are you there? Hello? Beware of spinners.
Yeah, you they hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. How you doing?
Wow, thank God.
We are discussing
So
opposition
what's
today.
what were
Hopeless,
you guys discussing?
hopeless opposition. The same group of people where they form opposition, they form third party, they form second party, they form since 1999. They don't gather again. One form opposition, and the people are waiting for them to start. So I'm saying, do we have to keep waiting for these people to keep leading the opposition? Part to me, I be the architect of a party constitutional expert. He wrote for APC, he wrote for PDP, he wrote for Labour Party, he wrote for Fela, he wrote for everybody. It don't start again. The same people. Now, the opposition, they engage themselves in fruitless conversation. Who get Nigeria? Now we get Nigeria. Now yes, CBN supposed to. Now there's CBN supposed to. These are the kind of useless conversation the so-called opposition will engage themselves for the next 3 years. Then one of them will come and will say, we want to do consumption to production. I want to do 500 schools across the country. I want to sell everywhere. And we just, the masses just, they follow the. So that's why I tied to it the hopeless opposition. Is it really an hopeless situation when it comes to an opposition here? When we they get generation, they come, they go, they come, they go. Every generation they old, they join the status quo, and they use that opposition narrative to get into the cycle. So is our situation hopeless in terms of the people, the true opposition people that will come and lead the people? Since now waiting the people they wait for that who will lead them? They are not ready to do the work.
I'm sorry.
Is
Sorry, I was
Mr.
offline.
Is he still talking?
Yeah, I
Ovie,
said
you hear
I'm
me?
sorry, I was offline. My sister,
Yes, we noticed that.
So do I let him continue what he was talking, or do you want me to talk about the question you posed to me?
Yeah, Mr. Jim, have you round off your point? You've made up.
okay,
You
let
want
me
him
just round
to?
up my point. Whenever we have
Okay.
any reasonable African leader, they don't know peace. And this is the reason why during the 2023 general elections, the major contestants went to Chatham House in the UK. Atiku was there, Bola Tinubu was there, Obi was there, to tell them this is what we have for you. The way all
Nkozo.
the Okokoso was there, I never knew. Okay,
Yeah.
now the way all the offer, all the goodies on the table, and they opted for Tinubu. This is the reason why, despite the fact that the election was badly flawed, they did not object to it. They recognize his government and they are doing business together. So this is how it is. So the point I'm making is this: foreign interference in our internal affairs is one of the root causes of these problems we are grappling with. Because it's not only Nigeria that is going through this problem. All African states, from Cape Town in South Africa to Cairo in Egypt, from Dakar in Senegal to Nairobi in East Africa, the whole of Africa is into this problem. So that is an aspect which we also concentrate on. Thank you. Yeah, beware of
Thank
spinners.
you,
You may continue. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. James. It's been a while. I saw you. I think I saw you yesterday here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good to
yeah,
see you.
yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
thank you.
I do
Mr. Jim
I
was
do
contracted to work for Tinubu transition. That's why we didn't see him.
yeah. Yeah, I kind of I see eye on eye with you on certain things you mentioned in your submission. It's just sometimes when we keep blaming the West for the reason for our woes, it's like we ourselves we are failing to take responsibilities for our own actions. I know the game is skewed. Uh, the geopolitics, the geoeconomics, and maybe the geosocial as well is skewed in favor of the West. They call the shots. They've designed it that way, and it's like Africa or Africans are the disadvantage in the scheme of things. But then, if we keep on holding on to that as the reason why we are underdeveloped, we will not move forward. I think we need to take responsibility for our own actions too, for our own actions and our own inactions in this, or inaction in this whole, um, uh, how do I say, in this whole scheme. Uh, but then, uh, would we ever take that responsibility and find where we are lacking, where we fall short, and make our own correction? Well, it's up to we Africans. We're always blaming the West, the West, the West. I mean, so I'm not saying they are not, they don't have their own shenanigans too that they've put in motion to impede African that continent's growth to their own advantage. So but we too need to take responsibilities for our own actions and our own inactions. Now, let me address what Ovi was asking me about the issue about opposition. You see, talking about the opposition, um, I think the political calculus in that country is changing, and at this moment, at this point in time, I'm trying to understand Tinubu's game.
Sorry, when you
Uh,
say it's changing, in what direction?
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to understand Tinubu's game. Tinubu's game, or is the card is trying to play, is what will shape the opposition. Uh, the opposition right now, I don't think there's anything they can do much
Yeah.
than to
I think
wait
I
and
think I think he's playing the kingship game, being the king, and every other person is subject.
we know that's what it is. That's what those people who promote him.
And I think he's succeeding.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it seems like it's succeeding. But my point is this: is that the opposition right now, they I don't think they can do anything much than just to watch and see the game is going to play. But because that game now that is trying to play, it's very difficult for anybody to really tell how and where and when, how, when, and where.
So
It's
are you leaning towards that the people should wait for these people who are claiming to be quote unquote opposition for us
well,
to for the people to
you see, Ovia, just let me land first.
okay.
The game that Tinubu is playing is to political analysts like myself, who is a staunch um, opposer of that guy. I think I am lost. I'm lost as to what exactly is this guy up to. It's becoming so hard for me now to even pinpoint
In the words of
where he's
Blacklist,
going with
in
this
the
whole
words
thing.
of
Let me
Blacklist.
land. Let me land this point,
No,
please.
no, no. I just want no because I want. He said he said he's aiming for 16 years.
You say what?
He's aiming for 16 years in power. That means after 8 years, he go find Percy we go do another 8 years for in place. That's some people can kind of
Well, I don't know
reading
of
of the
that.
game. Mm.
I don't know of that. And that's the fear of some people, probably too. Um, we shall see how that plays out. But then I know he's that kind of a person who likes to put a stooge, a stoogie or somebody, a puppet that he can control. But then by that time he will be very old. So how can he? Well, let me not say because I don't know that guy what he has up his sleeve, the kind of card he has up his sleeve. But my point is this: is that if you look at the game he's playing right now, um, I'm beginning to see that if he's making these bold moves that seems to be poking the North in the eyes, and a lot of their rabid dogs from there, in the presence of in presence of their so-called elites, their political elites, they are all getting agitated the way they are. Some of them are getting agitated. Then that tells you that there's a game he's trying to play, which is very, very difficult for me to really understand where that game is going to land. What am I saying is this, is that, look at the way Dume came on hard on him and the other guys, some other people from the North, voices from the North, that we made him, we gave him the presidency. Yeah, without us, he will not make it. And it says it's going to have consequences if he does go ahead with what he wants to do. Now, and if you look at it normally, you look at it that who wants to cross the North in this matter? Would you even dare doing that? Now, what I'm looking at is trying to do here is this. What is trying to do now that people, I don't know, maybe by propaganda that people are promoting, APC cannot, there's one thing about the APC, especially the Tinubu APC. In fact, the APC as a whole, they are very good at propaganda. They will throw out some narrative out there just to test and see how the people dance to it. But what I'm trying to see here, what I'm reading is that it's trying to pander to the whole South. The South, listen, I'm taking bold moves in our own interest. Because the whole narrative I'm hearing out there now is, even though I know it's mostly Lagos, but I can hear some South people and even Southeasterners now. They're beginning to sing Tinubu's tune, sing his music like, oh, it's trying to like break the knots. It's trying to like break that hold that they have on Nigeria, And to cap it up, the way I'm seeing is going to break into the Southeast is if he releases Nnamdi Kanu, which I think he's going to do. He might do it. And if he does that, and he start doing these pro-Southern moves, moving stuff to the South, I tell you, he will poke the North in the eyes. And then the middle belt, the way I'm saying it, if you start making moves toward the middle belt, and is able to get some people to start buying into his idea, forget it, North will have no power. And that is what I think he's trying to do. So, but then how far can he go with that? And how successful would that be? Well, he controls the means of violence because he has, I said, maybe if the Northerners, they do some, stage some coup and they're able to topple him. But what I'm trying to see is this: if he's able to rally the South to himself, the whole of South, including Southeast, and is able to rally the middle belt to himself, forget it. Nothing not will do. He will win second term in office. That's what I'm reading. I might be wrong, but that is how I'm reading the whole thing. Because why would you want to poke the North when you know that the North are very, very, they can go crazy when it comes to things like that? Well, let me just use the opportunity. Let me address this issue of these Northern, how do I say, this entitlement from people of the North. I mean, let me just say people from the North. These elites from the North, these criminal elites of the Northerners, Northern extractions. Now, when Federal Capital City, you see, that's why I said, like I said here on your platform, like it's been suggested by people even over the years, and like very recently, Agbakoba, if we do not renegotiate Nigeria, we're not moving forward. Now, why am I saying this? When the North are talking the way they're talking, you cannot move this from Abuja. When did we make that consensus that Abuja will be our federal capital city? That's the question I want to ask. Because it was a unilateral move by the, was it what's it called? Murtala, Supreme Military Council, or whatever. He is the Supreme Military Council. Let's forget about this. That stupid Supreme Military Council. He is the Supreme Military Council. They decide to move the federal capital city to Abuja. It wasn't the people who sat, just as they did this 1999 constitution that the military brought into existence without consulting the people, the owners of Nigeria. They unilaterally, they moved that capital city from Lagos, which I'm not saying is either good or bad. They moved it to Abuja. When did we, the people, say, yes, we want Abuja to be the federal capital city? Because a military man, because he rules by fiat, he rules by the gun, by means of violence, he decided, okay, we are moving federal capital city to Abuja. And other people start buying into it. People who are political ideology like him. Until finally, Babangida, another Northerner, or maybe middle belt, but Northerner, that's as everybody will refer to him. People, they were claiming as their own from the North. Until another Northerner finally moved it, and they cemented it more during Abacha's time. And they made Abuja. So what I'm trying to say is this, that the whole decision of moving Abuja was by the military. It wasn't by the people, by the constituent, by the people. That is, it wasn't by, how do I say, the civilians themselves, the people, through some kind of referendum, through some kind of agreement by democracy, that Abuja was moved. I mean, the federal capital city was moved to Abuja. It was by the military. The same shenanigans, the same crap that the military brought Nigeria, that they brought our other country, that has sunk that country to where it is today. The same decisions is what we saw. And now the Northerners are now crying that you cannot move everything from Abuja. Who did they consult with when they move everything to Abuja? So if Tinubu is doing this, poking them in the eyes, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm happy, but I see, for me, anything that will bring about, that will make these people, that will drive these people insane, that will drive them to the point whereby they will become incensed and say, so mad, and they want to okay, we want to go, everybody go your way. That is what I'm for. If Tinubu will start it, if Tinubu will initiate that conversation, whereby we start talking about, yes, this union, we need to negotiate this union. I'm all for it. Don't get me. Don't get me. Not because all these Agbado people say maybe I'm not dancing to Tinubu. You see now, Tinubu is no. I still don't buy into his politics. But if his politics or whatever thing he's doing, if it's by design, or by some kind of we know maybe the gods are playing their game behind the scene to just to liberate that country from the shackles of these people. And if this Tinubu is going to be the one to set it in motion, I'm all for it. Because my point is this: these Northerners, this sense of entitlement that they have, it needs to stop. We never negotiated that Abuja should be the federal capital city. It was a Northerner in the person of Murtala. Well, they claim it to be a Northerner, even though they say an Abuchi man. But let's say not a Northerner, as they claim him. A Northerner is the one who moved the federal capital city from Lagos to Abuja. It wasn't by something that we all did, by some constituent assembly that we all decided, okay, Abuja is going to be our capital city. Then another Northerner, when Obasanjo was there, he never moved. Even when Shagari was there, he never moved. Shagari was a Northerner. He was still in Lagos. That he was what do you mean? When Buhari was there too, he never moved. It was finally that a Northerner in the person of what's his name, Babangida, now moved it. Again, not by some democratic constituent assembly that these people would decide that Abuja should be. So why are they not crying if Tinubu now says he wants to move some, or he wants to move it back to Lagos? Mind you, they say they voted for Tinubu. That's a constituent assembly. It's by democracy that Tinubu got in there. Like, let's just assume that the last election was an election. So why are they complaining about it? Because the people who moved it, we never voted for them. So that's the angle I'm coming from with this matter. I don't know why these Northerners, they always feel this sense of, and look at the way they're debating the whole issue. It's so ridiculous that these people, when people are, they're not talking about what is happening in Plateau State, the mango killings, the people that are their own people that are being killed every day. But when it comes to anything that has to do with power, make them stay in power to continue getting money and getting rich, enriching themselves. That's all they. I mean, and this is not even to the benefit of the ordinary Northerners, poor Northerners, or masses from the North, but just for their own elitist enrichment, perpetuating themselves in power. That's all they care about. I don't know why these people are so these elites, this criminal elites from the North. Why they just so feel that Nigeria is just their personal estate. I don't get it. So we need to sit down and renegotiate their country. If we have to start moving capital city from places to places, so be it. They will decide that by constituent assembly, not by some military people whom we never voted for. They came into the barrels of the gun. They hold guns to our head, make us to submit our sovereignty to them, and they rule us, and they just by fiat, and they just move the capital city or whatever. And if Tinubu is doing the same thing, if he's reversing it or trying to reverse it, or I don't know that's what he's trying to do. But for me, you see, if Tinubu is able to succeed in rallying the whole of the South, by the South I mean Southeast, South, Southwest, to himself, and is able to get the middle belt, forget it. The North would just, I don't know, we'll see what happens from there. But that's what I think he's trying to do. And that's just my reading. If my readings are right, that is what he's trying to run. The only way I feel he can even get more and he can break maybe Obi is if he tries to release Kanu, just pardon, just maybe not even pardon, just release it like that. I tell you, he's going to win a lot of Southeasterners to his side, especially the Ipobians. Not even what he's doing right now, that it seems like it's more like pro Southern agitators, kind of like both the Yoruba nation and the Igbos, Biafran parts that are like, they just want the Northerners not to feel this sense of entitlement. That's whatever they have in the North, they want to move it back to the South. So I think that's the game he's playing. And that's if my reading is right, then I think Tinubu might be able to break the North from that way. But we don't know what card they have in other sleeve that they'll play. You know, they might want to start playing this because I don't know even the North now. At this moment, I don't think the North is one anymore. Considering what is going on in Southern Kaduna, what is going on in Plateau, in Nasarawa, all this thing playing out there, it shows that North is not one. And that is what any president that wants to break the North must make sure that you break that middle belts from them. those states that they are claiming the Middle Belt to be part of the North, if you can break it, like Taraba, break Plateau, break Niger State, Nasarawa, tell you, forget it. They will crumble. And if Tinubu can do that, I mean, forget it. He will win second time without even having to need their help. He will win the second term. And that's what I think is trying to do. Because this idiot from the North, I remember when I made the idiot, I'm not talking about the whole of the North, but those criminal elites among them that have turned their people to serve, made their people into servitude, turn them to like, so what the French people call les miserables, the miserable people that they are over there. Not as if they don't have the resources, but these idiots, they just corner out these resources to their own servants, their kids, their children, to their own cronies from the North. Why the people, they send them to a Quranic school, and they turn them to Al-Majiri on the street to be begging, and all this money they get, and you see one person from the North is a billionaire. What does he have? I mean, what industry is he doing? Well, government is only a senator or maybe a contractor with the civil service or with the government, and it's a billionaire in dollars, millionaire in dollars, and you see the largest chunk of poverty in that country called Nigeria is from their area there. What are they doing with all this money? What has happened to the human development of their own people? No, they want to always make them remain in servitude so that they can always use them for election, perpetuate themselves in power. That's what they should be talking about, not to say Tinubu moving one thing. After all, if Tinubu move on, if another person from the North gets in there tomorrow, you can also move it back. That's how it is. That's why we cannot continue like this. We need to negotiate that country proper. If we don't negotiate that country proper, we'll continue in this spiral of this never-ending spiral. That's what I have to say, Bouvier. Now, talking about the opposition, for me, I think that, like I said in this my submission, if Tinubu, that's the game he's playing, forget it. Obi is not going anywhere. Obi is not going anywhere. If he's not able to do what I'm trying to, what I just said, if that's what by my reading, or if that's what that game is playing, forget it. Obi is not going anywhere. Obi will have to wait another one more, maybe wait 8 years after Tinubu is done. And by then, say himself, we're going to enter the 87. We're going to enter 70 something years old. So
Obi is lying up behind the Atiku already.
You say what?
I said Obi is lying behind Atiku already.
Atiku, huh?
Yeah.
So that's another thing again. I think it's going to fail from there, because for somebody like me, I would that would depend on how Tinubu performed though, and what all this thing we're talking about. I just talk about if he's not able to do it then. But then that doesn't mean even though if Tinubu fail, if he fails, which I think is going to the way I'm looking at it. For me, I don't think Atiku is somebody I want because I don't know. Atiku is very hard to predict because he has said a lot of things in the past, and those things are giving me concern. You know, one thing about the Northerners is that even though Atiku is not that kind of person that the way I see him, he doesn't play their northern politics the way they want him to play it. But one thing I know is that if he wants his own people, because I know what's going to happen is invariably is that if he succeeds in beating Tinubu in 2077, then we'll go see another division again. It's going to be Southwest versus North versus Southeast. The same one that is playing right now, whereby Southwest, North versus East. That's what we're going to play again. We're going to see the same continuation of this crap, of this bigotry and ethnic politics. But then it's going to be very toxic again, because I don't know. Yeah, some people who have beef with Tinubu and the Yorubas, then they want to settle. See, it's just something I cannot just even. It's very hard for me to just imagine how it's going to play out if Atiku ever gets in there, because I know the North want to rally around him, and they want to be like, hey, yeah, our ranker they have our own person, our own Fulani man has getting there again, and then these idiots from the Sahel, they will continue having more reason to want to start more slaughtering middle. You see, it's just. I mean, it's very hard to just say what's going on. But for me, I don't think if Tinubu plays this card that I'm thinking is trying to play, forget it. They're not going anywhere. There's no point with their merger or whatever it is. People like me, I would never even support it. I would never support Obi. And that does not mean I will support Tinubu. I'm not going to support Tinubu. I'm not going to support Obi. If we merge, and Obi is not the main candidate in that merger, that they might have to relegate Obi to the second. Forget it. I don't know, because I don't know how Obi is going to do it, because if you merge with this guy, with Atiku, he's going to play second fiddle, because you cannot expect Atiku, who is former vice president, and the way this game is going, if Tinubu fail, the best person to beat Tinubu will be Atiku. And the only way that ticket can be more solidified is if what's his name? Obi becomes his deputy. That's the only way they can, because see, they both have 6 million, 6 million, 6 million plus 6 million. That's about 13 million. They could beat Tinubu 9 million. So that's just what I'm thinking. Bringing in South, at least some part of the Igbos, at least half of the Igbos, to buy into his idea, especially the Ipobian part of it. By releasing Kanu.
Let's hear from Mr. James.
You said what?
Yes, I think Mr. J has a.
Oh, so yes. Come on, Mr. James, sorry, please.
Okay, now you see, when you started, you talked about political calculus. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not know how much of calculus you know, but I have some elementary knowledge of calculus, very elementary. There's what the mathematicians call difference quotient. That is something like f of x plus h minus f of x all over h as limit of h approaches 0. They use it to calculate rates of change. Anyway, that's their language I'm speaking. I'm not one of them. Now, when you are talking of that h approaching 0, is inching towards 0 without touching 0, little by little by little by little. And it's just like a graph approaching the x-axis asymptotically. It gets closer and closer without touching it. That is the kind of change or calculus change we are talking about. The political calculus, strictly speaking, has not changed. It is the same people governing this country since independence till now. It's the same class of people. The old people are passing away, and so are their desires. But they're already breeding people to take over from them. See a man like the Minister for Interior, how he got himself entangled with Betty Edu's Wahala. Look at what's it called, Ministry of Infrastructure, how they finished the money. Look at what's it called, Central Bank. Emefiele is an old man, but if you look at the people below him, they were all born after independence. So it's the same class of people who are still playing the same game on you and me. By next election or the one after next, that generation will pass away. But they've groomed enough people to continue with the same system. And I may be surprised you were talking about 6 million votes for, is it Atiku or what's it called, Peter Obi. In the first place, there was no election. This is one thing Nigerians have been talking about that is, I'm being amused. What they had was selection, according to Showore. They never had election. If you ask me a question now, if the election were free and fair, how many votes would have Atiku scored? My honest answer is I don't know. I don't know what Tinubu would have scored. I sincerely don't know what Showore would have scored. The whole election was a scam, and we all agree that it was a scam. But to my surprise, people are still analyzing the election results with the false figures Professor Yakubu dished out to us. There was no election. Let us just get that clear. So the idea of saying Peter Obi scored 6 million votes, Jagaban scored this, that is all rubbish and unadulterated nonsense. There was no election. They only allocated votes. So that is that. To get out of this problem, as I was saying, was it in our last show here, it's only a revolutionary government that can sweep these people out. Ovi has rightly said it is hopeless opposition. Because look at the whole of them ideologically, I think there are only two people I will single out. of the whole presidential candidates who do not agree with the old men ideologically. That is Showore and this man, the corporate Adebayo. If you look at their style of doing things, their understanding of the monumental rot of the system, they seem not to belong to them ideologically because they are more socialist oriented. So to me, what is the difference? Then you say the Benin people, they have a saying. The Benin will say, Awegebo, Awege Fada. To the traditional Benin man, there is no difference between a white man and a Reverend Father. They are all the same. So that is how Atiku, what's his name, Kwankwaso, Tinubu, Obi, and all, they are all one and the same people. You will agree with me that the position of vice president is just a heartbeat from the presidency. This man, they call, what's it called, Peter Obi, was the vice presidential candidate of Abubakar Atiku in a previous election. What do they have in common that made him to gravitate towards him to such an extent of wanting to become his vice president? Ideologically, they are the same. This is how I see them. Now, he was in APGA. From APGA, I think he moved to PDP. From PDP, he went to what's called Labour Party. From the look of things now, he's prepared to form a coalition with PDP people again. That is what's called Abubakar Atiku. How sincere is this man ideologically? You know, financially, he might be very disciplined. I must be very frank. But ideologically, is he a socialist? Is he a capitalist? Is he a welfarist? I don't know exactly what he stands for. But to me, I know that he's more of a capitalist because he's a trader. My mother, when she was alive, she was a trader. She was selling foodstuffs, going to the north, buy these things in lorries and bring them to the south for sale. I noticed that she was more interested in accumulating profit so that she would buy more when she go back to the north again. That is the attitude of capitalists. And this guy has got that attitude too. But anyway, I don't have too much confidence. In fact, I don't have confidence in the politicians. I mean, the forerunners at the moment, I have no confidence in any of them at all. They are taking us nowhere. And lastly, we've been talking a lot online. I want to ask a question, and that is, how many of us will do things differently if we find ourselves in their position? Assuming I'm made the Minister of Environment tomorrow, or Minister of Water Resources, or if he's made the Minister of Defense, or whatever it is, what is the guarantee that we will not be like these men? The possibility that we will not be like them is almost zero because the processes we will go through to get to that office, we must get ourselves thoroughly tainted. We must rub ourselves with shit before getting there. And this is what is disturbing Beta Edu right now. What she went through to get to that position she sees right now is unspeakable. If she happened to narrate what she went through, you weep for her, particularly as a woman. So we've got a long way to go. And this is why I believe Showore so much when he said that the only way out of this problem is outright revolution. The old system must be cleansed thoroughly and wiped out of existence, political existence, before we find out.
Mr. James, you see,
Yes, please.
you see, this issue of revolution. Don't get me wrong, it's an idea that I like, but you see, most revolutions that have ever taken place, it's like you're replacing one set of system, flawed system with another flawed system. Like the Bolshevik, the Russian Revolution, even the French Revolution itself was, it didn't create a new order, kind of, even though, kind of a new order, but it's like you're replacing some kind of form of tyranny with another tyranny. In a very convoluted place like Nigeria, and you're talking about revolution where we have, I think it's a more homogeneous place whereby you have people of one ethnic group, then you can say maybe possibly there could be a revolution that would really hit to the very bottom and hit the reset button to bring about a new order that is devoid of the tyranny that it's replacing. But in a country like Nigeria, where we have different ethnic group with different ideology, different ways of resolving our problems, whichever one seems to have the loudest mouth or the loudest or has the means to violence among them will be the one to take over. Because, okay, for example, now let's assume there's a revolution now. Hold on. Showore leads the revolution. I think Showore is not the only person in the polity. There are people too who in the polity who want to skim him out. And we don't even know what those people they have. They too, they can be like comrades, like they too, that, oh yes, we want a total change. And then maybe they're able to outdo Showore in the process. And these people, they brought in some kind of new form of tyranny or some form of governance system. So what I'm not trying to say is this. You see, for me, revolution is very, very chaotic. It's very anarchical. And it's anarchical and well, kind of it stalls some form of an anarchy. So for me, when people say revolution, don't get me wrong, I'm for revolution. But a revolution can only, for me, I see a revolution to really happen in the real sense of it if we have at least more than half of the people who are agitating to have one single ideology. Because if I tell you right now, I mean, if you talk about the obedience, they're on one side of the people. She already have his own people, and maybe some disgruntled other elements from other political groups too. They have their own ideology, and then one of those people now is okay. Yes, want to remove the status quo. They remove the status quo, but they're not able to agree among themselves among all these ideologies that each of them have. The obedience, the Showores, and which is the take it backers and whatever. They kind of seem to agree. I mean, they start seeing rivalry among them, and they start fighting each other, and like so. For me, that idea of revolution in Nigeria is going to be very, very chaotic. It's going to be very. Look at what happened in Egypt. We're talking about some sort of Arab Spring. And look at it. They replace it with the Muslim brothers. For the Muslim brother now, it's become another. So I mean, look at what happened in Iraq too. And so you see, this revolution thing, we can be saying it. It sounds good to the hearing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm not for anything change that will bring about change that will reset Nigeria in a good way. I'm for it. But in a country like Nigeria, whereby we have this divergent views as to how to move that country forward, I don't know how we're going to settle that.
Yeah, you see,
I just feel like dialogue. We need to just sit down and dialogue the whole thing. Right now, all of us will renegotiate that country, call a constituent assembly so that we can all dialogue and talk and just bring about a new constitution that we all will abide by. That's just the only way I feel we can go about it. But will we? I don't know. Go on, Mr. James.
You see, the issue is this. If you want to go through dialogue, you will never see the promised land, let alone entering. It will be like the case of Moses in the Bible, who saw the promised land but did not enter. You will not even see the promised land, let alone entering it. The ruling class, for now, will never allow you and me to sit down to negotiate anything. Because once that negotiation takes place successfully, they will be swept out of office for life. In fact, generations unborn. So the issue of negotiation, just keep it aside. Then Showore and Peter Obi and others, they cannot work together ideologically. Peter Obi has been eating and drinking with capitalists. A lot of, as I was saying earlier on, he was the vice presidential candidate of Abubakar Atiku. If they had won the election, what is the guarantee that he will be singing the kind of song he's singing now if they had won the election? So this is a guy, I find it difficult to understand him. Anyway, as for success and failures of revolutions, I've said on this platform a number of times, not all there cannot be a change without a revolution. but not all revolution bring about the desired changes. Now, you cited the examples of, I think, Iraq and others. In the case of France, I do not know if you've read European history from 1789 to outbreak of First World War, 1914.
Yeah.
The French Revolution gave...
I studied French. I studied French, and one of my I took a unit in French civilization.
Excellent.
Culture. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I never knew. That's very interesting. What did you read at university?
I studied French and international relations.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, then you will understand me very well. Now, during the French Revolution, before the French Revolution, the Bourbon dynasty was in control of virtually all European countries. They were the ruling houses in Europe. The situation in France was so deplorable that eventually, let me cut a long story short, the French Revolution broke out. And after that, they coined this word of fraternity, liberty, equality, and fraternity. And after that, there was the Jacobean reign of terror. In fact, it took them a very long time to be able to stabilize. And that is the confusion you are foreseeing. After they stabilized, they took off. And that is the France you are seeing today. In the case of Iran, for example, in 1979, I think I had just left high school when the Ayatollah returned from exile in France. When he got to Iran, the Ayatollah of Iran, what's his name? Shah Pahlavi of Iran was running a country as useless as Nigeria of today. So the Ayatollah declared a revolution. During the course of declaring that revolution, there were sharply contrasting misunderstandings among the revolutionists. I still remember people like Ali Rajai, Bani Sadra, and others. They ate each other raw. There was serious infighting. Eventually, they stabilized. Today, you will agree with me that Iran is a country to be feared even by the United States. It was not like that in 1979 when I left high school.
No. You see, this is a revisionist kind of. Iran. You're talking about. You know what is going on in Iran. It's like you're.
Excuse me. Wait. Let me finish.
Okay, all right. Because you're talking about the Ayatollahs now. The Ayatollahs. The tyranny, they rule that country with the iron fist. That's another thing. You see, that's what I'm trying to talk about.
So look, if you listen to Western television broadcasts, CNN,
goodness.
Are you getting me? If you want to see the other side of the story, watch Al Jazeera and Press TV. You see the other side of
another propaganda TV like the West too. Propaganda TV.
Okay, now excuse me.
Let him finish. Let him finish now. He allow you.
Now, look at Russia. When the war broke out in 1914, when what's his name, Archduke Ferdinand of Austria was killed in Sarajevo in June 28, 1914, the world was at war. The Russians could not sustain the war. I think they had to pull out. And during that process, they launched the Bolshevik Revolution. Between 1914 and outbreak of Second World War, 1945, that's about 31 or 30 years difference. An agricultural country, agricultural state became a nuclear power. That is the Russia we find today. When, the war broke out in 1914, they had not declared, there was acquired nuclear capability. It was an agrarian revolution. But within a very short time, they became a nuclear power. Now, these are some cases of successful revolutions. But there's one outstanding case of a failed revolution. That is Ghana. In 1979, I think, yes, or Jerry Rawlings came to office. When he came to office, 3 retired heads of states were executed publicly. I think at Teshi Fire Range in Accra, not far from Accra. After that, they stabilized. But I do not know what went wrong because I've not read much about the history of Ghana. That revolution failed. This is why the Ghanaians are still grappling with what they're grappling with today. So the point I'm making is Not all revolutions are successful, but there will never be a change without a revolution. Look at England. There was the Industrial Revolution and launched them on the pedestal they are occupying today. In America, they had their own revolution. Look at the Chinese. When Chairman Mao came, I think in the 50s or 40s, he launched a cultural revolution. Now, when we talk about revolution, it does not necessarily mean bloodshed. It means a radical break from the rotting past and they chart a brand new course. And to break away from the past, the actors of the past should not be given the chance to participate in the new beginning. That's what I understand by revolution. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you just said it now. You just said it that there are some. If not the most of the revolutions, none of them really succeeded and brought about that real change that people yearn. It's like you're replacing one tyrannical system with another kind of tyranny. That's how I see it. At least the probability of it not succeeding is high. It's higher than it succeeding. The ones you just mentioned, it was just the fringes that just some of them just succeeded, and maybe just a little bit, and then like that. But all the revolution we talk about, all of them, it's like you're replaced. So, and more so, how much more so Nigeria? You see, I agree with you that for there to be a change, there must be a turnaround, a revolution. Yeah, there must be a revolution of some sort. But you see, it's the Nigerian case. The Nigerian case is just, for me, it's classic in the sense that the people that are there, they are just, it's very highly ethnic. It's ethnically very highly charged.
I don't think so. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Ordinarily, it's this time of peace that where there's no fight as such. You look at us, everybody just grabbing everybody's neck.
No,
Now you're against us. You don't want my ethnic people to succeed. No, you hate Northerners. You hate Hausa. You hate Fulani. You hate Biroms. You hate Igbos. You hate Look at it. That one alone. So my friend, you see, Mr. Francis, Mr. James rather. For me, I think I understand that these people will not let us sit down and have dialogue with them. So the only option would be the revolution, but it's going to be bloody because there is no way these people will not resist. You cannot say you want to bring about it. Look at it. Ordinarily, when she will record for revolution, look at what they did. Look at the NSAS. Look at how they infiltrated the NSAS with their moles and then they label it so as to hang it. And like I say, you label a dog, you give a dog a bad name so you can hang it. Look at how they labeled it. Oh, it's the Hypobian, it's the people that hate Buhari, it's the people that it's the people that Tinubu sponsor. They bring all kind of narrative just to just to make it look like that wasn't a genuine thing. People just hated the government, they hated Tinubu, that's just it. They will fight, they will resist, and if you require, they have to bring in violence into it. And when people resist, they will also resist too. So there's always going to be resistance. There's going to be bloodshed, So you see, it's for me. I just look at the situation. It's just like it looks so hopeless for me. It's just only by some kind of divine providence of kind of divine. I don't know. Let me not say divine. I don't know. Let me not say. Some kind of. If we're just so fortunate, just finding some kind of a revolution or a change, or a revolution that will bring about a change that will not involve much spillage of blood and that will not involve how do I say there's no way. You have to get rid of this people that are there, these oligarchs, these thieves, these people that are just stamp themselves in the Nigerian political system. You have to get rid of them. They won't answer off easily. They want
I do not know how old you are, but however, that is not very important. I'm saying this because when I was a little boy in Benin City, I'm not a native of Benin, but I grew up there. When I was a little boy in Benin City, Midwest was eventually created out of Western Nigeria for a number of reasons. We are not exactly the same thing. Our languages are different. We have some similarities in customs and traditions and things like that. But despite the fact that we broke away from them, when they got themselves properly, in fact, they've been well organized from the word go. When they got more organized, they brought this idea of free education to us in Bender State. We keyed into it. I've said it on this program very many times. We keyed into it, gave them our vote. And do you know that the education they brought to Bender State was perfectly identical to the one they operated in Western Nigeria? There's no iota of difference. We used the same pencils, erasers, sharpeners, textbooks, what have you. Whatever they gave their children, biological children in the West, is what they gave us in Midwest. We were the only people who voted for them. That's why they brought it to Midwest. If the Easterners had voted, they would have also given it to them. Now, when we are talking about tribalism, if a Yoruba man can give my child free education, who am I to say no? Because it's a Yoruba man, my child should not have it. The issue now is this: the ruling class, they are hitting your head on mine, against mine, and while we are fighting, they will be busy reaping the benefits of the fight. This is what is going on in the country. If you introduce the kind of education we have in the South to the North, take it or leave it, within 2 generations, the North will no longer be what it is today. And this is what the ruling class do not want. I hope you are getting me.
I'm with you, definitely.
Yes, this is what the ruling class is terribly afraid of, because Awolowo told them that this oligarch, what's it called, a monarchical system, the ruling oligarchs in the North will take them nowhere. But what they want is, oh, Rankadede, it's God who made you to be a millionaire, so I'm ready to serve under you. That is what God did not make anyone rich or poor. It is the economic systems and the way we organize ourselves that creates poverty and riches unevenly distributed all over the globe. So it has nothing to do with God or devil. So if we find it necessary to launch a revolution and the revolution succeeds, and you are able to educate, education changes people's minds. Eventually, you see that this tribal problem we are talking about, we face away after 1 or 2 generations. When I was in Egypt, on 2 or 3 occasions I've been to Egypt. I was in Cairo and some other towns. Do you know that there are more Muslims there than in northern Nigeria? Than what's called most parts of Nigeria. And not only that, they are highly educated people. When I say educated, I don't mean Islamic education, Western education in Arabic language. I hope you are getting me. They are highly educated people. So what is wrong with the Muslims of northern Nigeria that don't want to be educated? Look at the Iranians. When the Ayatollah returned from France to launch his revolution, he sent a lot of his boys and girls to Western schools to acquire Western knowledge. Many of them refused to come back, but a few returned. The few that returned are the ones creating the wonders in nuclear science and engineering in Iran of today. Is Western knowledge. One of those who refused to go back is this lady they call Christina Amampo of CNN. She's an Iranian by birth. They went out to school, but she refused to go back. So what the North actually need very badly is education. And this is what the people are denying. They are denying their children education. What is wrong? If you are saying that, if you say Western education is haram, that's Boko Haram. Why not send your children to Iran, to Egypt, to Saudi Arabia, where they have fine universities? They come back as mathematicians, engineers, and what have you, to develop your area. But these people, they just want to sit on the Talakawa's heads so that they are free. Look, it's a very funny situation. They know what is going on there. I'm very hot because they know they are down and they are pulling everybody down to their level. They don't want anybody to develop. So this is the situation we find. If there's a successful revolution, all this nonsense will fizzle out within 1 or 2 generations.
Mr. James, you see, you're making my point somewhat in some ways. You know, it's easy for us to just talk about, should I say, well, maybe the symptom, but it's not a symptom. It's, I mean, I think what you just mentioned too is one of those things that is at the core of why Nigeria is the way it is. You know, when people are not educated. You know, if I don't know if you listen to this guy, what's his name? This Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He said something recently, and when he said that, I was like, wow. He says if you look at what is going on when he was talking about Hamas and in Gaza and this Israeli and Palestinian fight. He says if you look at what is going on in Saudi, look at what is going on in some of the Gulf states. Now there's this moving away, de-radicalizing their populace by giving them education, by getting them exposed to things that are not even told. I mean, that are not religious anymore. Now look at what this bin Salman is doing in Saudi. You know, it's trying to like modernize Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabians now they can watch TVs, they can watch TV program from outside. So what he's trying to say is that what Israel is trying to do to the Palestinian is just to de-radicalize them, you know, expose them to things that are not just Islamic, you know. Like, I don't know, someone was saying to me that somebody I used to meet on one of those other platforms, and he's a doctor in Saudi Arabia. He says he's a doctor, he's practicing in Saudi Arabia. He says if you go to mosque, even if you see a Saudi Arabian, you just do the Allah Akbar, just go. They don't even get time. But people will carry this religion for her now. All these people, foreigners like Nigerians, Indians, Pakistanis, people that are where we say they don't even get anything to do with Saudi Arabia. They're from outside and then carry and put for head like gala. You get that? So my point is that even the so-called areas where this religion comes from. I mean, look. I mean, you can go to UAE and you can drink beer, you can drink alcohol. They serve it. People, you see Olosho there. You see people doing stuff there. These are just countries that you would just ordinarily refer to as very Islamic countries. So there's this going away from this radical views. And that's what Benjamin Netanyahu was alluding to when he was making his, he was referencing. So anyway, my point is that is at the very core of what the problem we're facing in Nigeria. So how can you start a revolution when the people themselves that are going to be part of that revolution, they have their kind of view, or they are so rooted in this kind of they've been their psyche, their mental capacity has been so affected that they just feel like, no, we cannot leave this status quo. That's how we're born. We're born to be talakawas. We're born to be this. They are born to be our leaders. That kind of, how can you? I mean, okay, look at it. Anytime the South agitates, like when Bubu was there, when the South they agitate, we had the NSAS. How many of the Northerners did you see among them? Only Southerners that you see among them that are fighting, that are doing all these things. So how can you bring about a revolution when only one part of the nation, I mean, what you say a nation, so Nigeria is not a nation, only one part of the country is agitating. The other part of it saying, well, we're less concerned. It's our man. It's this. You see, that's what the point is. It's easy for us to talk about revolution. No, it's a good thing. If it, like you said, I like the way you use the word if it's going to be successful. So how can it be successful? Successful not in the sense that, we're able to get rid of these people, but even when you get rid of them, replace it with a new system that works for everybody. How? Yeah, you said if. So you see, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discourage you from anybody from going ahead with any revolutionary, whatever they want to do. But for me, I see Nigeria as, I mean, as a place whereby it's very hard we see a real revolution happen, because if one part of the country, these people from the north too, they're suffering too, but their psyche. I don't know if you understand what I mean by the word psyche. Their being, the very essence of them, which is their capacity to reason, to think things through, to see for themselves, to think as a free thinker. I mean, to reason as a free thinker, to be rational. It's already affected. Maybe some people from the middle belt, they're gradually now waking up, seeing that there's no such thing as one north anymore. Like what's going on in Southern Kaduna, what's going on in Plateau, in Taraba, and maybe in what's it called, Benue as well, Nasarawa. These states, they're gradually, even in Niger State, they're gradually saying that there's no such thing as one north. We're talking about one north. We're talking about those Sharia core KKK states, who they feel that they are the protector of the north. They are the custodian of the northern interest, and that interest is not the general north, including of the middle belt. It's just their own selfish self-aggrandizement and perpetuating themselves in governance. That's all they care about. So, except those people that I feel that are now gradually also waking up now to the idea of, no, we're not one. We want to stay our own. We want to be on our own. But the point is this, is that was why I was saying, I think Tinubu is reading this. I think he's going to capitalize on this. And if he capitalizes on this, he will be able to break that so-called northern crap that he used to throw around, brandish around. He will be able to break it. And he's able to rally the whole South to himself and get the middle belts to buy into it. Now look, you guys, we want everybody to be on their own. We want everybody to be free on their own space. Forget it. But what I'm trying to say is that could be another sort of revolution that he could bring. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a pro Tinubu. I'm not an Agbado. I'm not a Tinubu hater. But I'm saying I don't like his politics. But one thing I've always said is that, despite all the crap he has done, if he's able to fight for the people, bring about some form of order, bring some form of system that will be a trailblazer for what to come. Because I don't expect him to do anything much, because the guy has met a lot of rots, which I think himself is part of it. But if he's able to walk and be a trailblazer for what is to come, maybe set in motion some things that would bring about us discussing how to move forward. I mean, maybe he's able to bring about a new sovereign national conference, and he's able to put that into working, and start implementing them for the next phase to come in, to now fully implement. I don't believe 8 years is enough for him to do all of this. Or maybe it is, I don't know, but I don't think so. So for me, the issue of revolution, you see, like I said, I've always said this, there are many ways to skin a cat. I mean, not as if I'm not the one who invented that statement. I'm just saying there are many ways to skin a cat. I mean, let me not use the word cat, because some people hate to say when you say cat because it's their pet. There are many ways you can, do things. I've always said to Shore, I know you are for revolution, and I think that's the best way to go about this thing. But sometimes you might need to do some little evil to achieve some good. Even in the sense that you might need to like parley with these so-called evil people in the system. Be their friend, befriend them until when you're able to capture them, then you can now break them. I've always said that, but if you said no, you cannot join them. You say you cannot beat them, you can join them. He will never join them. I know. I respect his stance on that, because people who are principled will always stand on their principle, and if that's what it is. But for me, I just think the notion of the whole idea of a revolution in Nigeria is far-fetched, because you cannot say you are doing revolution when it's just only one-sided. The other people say, you see, you hate us, you don't want us, you don't consider, you don't only look at, you're only they're moving paracetamol, so not as if they're moving the whole thing, though. Just some some government agencies are being moved. Some departments are being moved. Look at how they are coming for the neck of Tinubu, calling for his head. I know you will see. That's consequences. You see, that's the point.
Okay.
How can you bring about a revolution when some people feel that you're always against them whenever you do something? That's a form of revolution too. Did you hear what somebody said? They said Sanusi himself said it, that when he was CBN governor, he has been wanting to move some department of the CBN to Lagos. He said it. That's another man. Because I think he's more well read, well schooled, isn't it? But look at how they are others, so-called learned people. Look how they spin the whole narrative. You get it? What for me, Mr. James?
Yeah.
I don't know if revolution is something that is possible in Nigeria,
Okay,
or the fabrics of that country.
Let me start with what Netanyahu said. He said they want to de-radicalize the Palestinians. I don't think that is their intention. This problem in the Middle East is deep-rooted. It has spanned across generations. If you have time, there's a book, the title of the book is, sorry, if I remember, I'll let you know. The author of the book is James Michina. The Source, yes, that's it, The Source, Source, The Source, by James Michina. Look for it and just take time to read it. You know how deep-rooted this problem is. It has spanned across generations. And not only that, that territory called Israel today, State of Israel, it has changed hands so many. Can you hear me, please? Hello? Oh,
I can hear you.
Yes,
good.
yes.
Good. That territory called Israel today has changed hands so many times in the historic past. In fact, the number of times it has changed hands are not even recorded in the Bible, because the Bible just concentrates on a period of time, a particular period. The Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Hashemite kingdom, what's called the Ottoman Empire, the Romans, the Byzantine, all the great empires in the Middle East, they have conquered and lost that territory. Nobody can tell you for certain that this territory belongs to Palestine or it belongs to Israel. So it's just a matter of emotions. Now, if he's saying that they want to de-radicalize the Palestinians, he's joking, because an educated man can be radicalized. An educated man holding PhD degrees, professors, they can be radicalized and become religious fundamentalists. The Jews themselves are also religious, because the Jews and Judaism, they're almost synonymous. Almost more than 90% of them practice Judaism. So it's a religion. And if they believe in Judaism in such a radical way, you can also call them radicals as well. So what they are doing now in the Palestine is just foolishness. Anyway, that's not what we are discussing today. Let's concentrate on our own problems here. Now, this issue of saying we cannot carry everybody along in a revolution, I don't agree. During the NSAS movement, the movement started in Lagos or so. I think they said they killed somebody in Ughelli or something like that, and eventually it became NSAS movement. While the Southern boys and girls were demonstrating, the Northern youths, they distanced themselves from them. I noticed it. But when the Southern boys and girls started discovering palliatives in warehouses, the Northern youths, they also joined them in looting palliatives from warehouses. I hope you get what I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. James, again, you see, okay. Let me let you finish, because there's something you're saying that I'm not really.
National man, hold on. John Abba is here. Welcome, John Abba. When Mr. James finished, then John Abba.
Now, when Tunde Diagbo came when they overthrew, was it Shagari's government? Shagari's government was completely rotten. As far as morality is concerned, it was below zero. When today Diagmo came, these guys were able to carry the entire nation along, the entire nation. People started queuing up in public places, from Sokoto to what's it called, Port Harcourt, from Lagos to Yola. People started queuing up, war against indiscipline. They carried everybody along before the government was overthrown. So it is not always very correct to say that we cannot carry everybody along. As I told you, when they brought free education to my area, we did not even resist, let alone them carrying us along. We just keyed into their programs and we got along with them. Now, this issue of middle belt, you also mentioned something about it. If you look at it very carefully, you will discover that to a very large extent, they are the architect of their misfortune. Why did I say, why am I saying this? During the days of Yakubu Gowon, to the best of my knowledge, majority of the generals were from the Middle Belt. Jeremiah Husseini, from Kadbali, David Mack. There are so many, I cannot remember all of them. They were all from the Middle Belt. There was a clique they called the Langtam Mafia from Plateau State. While these men were eating and drinking with the Fulanis, oppressing the South, doing what they are not expected to do, to them, there was nothing wrong at all with it. Now, the Fulani man is now telling them, so, excuse me, the relationship now is more than eating and drinking. We want your land. It is now they are now rebelling against the Fulani man, when the Fulani man has got a firm hold of their area. So they are the cause of this problem Nigeria is grappling with today. Who were those who fought the Nigerian Civil War? Majority of the generals were from the Middle Belt. I'm not saying, or I'm not supporting the breakaway Republic of Biafra, but come to look at it, they've teamed up with the North for a very long time. There was no difference between the Middle Belt and the Northerners. So if they are now crying that we are being oppressed, therefore we want a country of our own, to me it's laughable. But however, I'm not supporting oppression. If they are being oppressed, that oppression must be addressed. Because if I'm saying that I support what is happening to them, it means I'm not better than the Fulani man who goes about the country raping women, committing murder, abducting people. I mean, it's unheard of. So, I mean, this is just how I see the situation in the Middle East. So I always say on this program, we have two options out of this problem. We either build a new Nigeria by cleansing this present Nigeria. If we are able to do that, then a revolution is the call. I mean, it's the only way out. And take note of a revolution. When a revolution breaks out, if it's not controlled, it can result into a massive civil war. And it can lead to breakaway republics. Anything can come out of revolution. So it's not compulsory that once a revolution is launched, there's going to be an automatic change into a new order. It doesn't work like that all the time. So it depends on how strong the leaders of the revolution are to be able to hold the country together. So that is it.
John Abba,
Obi, are you still
welcome.
there?
Yes, John
I
Abba,
thought you said
welcome.
John Abba wants to comment.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah, John Abba. I don't know if John Abba is still there. John Abba, if you are there, you are muted. Anyway, Rational Mind.
All right. So, you see, we can go on and have this debate on um, who's going to key in, how much of people are going to key in. Well, I'm only making my own saying what I'm saying, making my position known based on my reading of the Nigerian system, political, social, and economic system, the way it has been structured, and the way things has ever played out. You can say that when I mean, you're talking about some of those palliative that they, I mean, the first one, if I remember back then, the first video clips was in Plateau State, where somebody discovered some palliative. Again, these are people who are not really called Northerners. All the while, when a lot of the warehouses were looted in the South and Middle Belt, the core North never did anything. They never did. So you see, we can continue arguing this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the point is this: is that it's either we realize it or not, is that the way Nigeria is structured, I don't see a revolution. It's only going to be a southern revolution, as it has always been. It's southern people always agitating. The northerns will not say anything. I mean, I'm happy that you said it yourself that the middle belt now are now waking up because of having seen that they are under threats. Just a few hours ago, we had about 30 people were killed, were massacred in Plateau State. Another 1999 era is back again. Another Southerner is back there again. When they did it during when Dariye was there, they were always fighting. I mean, retaliation and all of that, and Christian versus Muslim and all of that. You know, I was listening to Ojini Okwe was that girl, the young woman in Arise there, when she was doing What's Trending, and you know, just that video of the retaliation and all of that, and I mean, people spin it to be more of a religious thing now, you know. So when we're divided along that line of ethnic, now compounding it with religion now, I mean, Nigeria is a not job. I mean, it's a case. I don't see that country. I don't see us ever achieving anything. Maybe with the South guy, maybe the Southerners, because some of us we tend to like support each other in some ways, and seem to have one ideology that Nigeria is not working for us. We need to break it. Maybe that would really rally all of us together, but not from the North. Maybe we can get some people from this middle belt, but from the North itself, the core North, forget it. Forget it. Well, we shall see how that plays out if ever it happens. Revolution ever happens in that country. We'll see how many more of the people from the North will. I mean, when I mean by the North, I mean the core North. Say like people like from Katsina, Zamfara, Benue, Borno, Yobe, those areas. We shall see how much of them we key into wanting to be part of the revolution. You know, we'll see. Because every time when we talk about things like that, hey, they hate the Northerners. They don't want the Northerners to do this. They don't want like look at what Idume was saying, you know, and the other guys. Honorary, they hear that somebody's moving some parasites. They feel that look at how they spin the whole narrative. It's moving the whole federal capital city to Lagos. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Maybe that's what Tinubu is trying to do too. Maybe truly they know that he was trying to move the whole capital city back to Lagos. But my point is this: I said it in my earlier submission. Now, who then consult before they move capital city from Lagos to Abuja? I've said that before. Now, who then consult? Who did they have this conversation with? Well, when did we discuss this in a constituent assembly? It was a northerner in the person of Mutala that did it, that moved it from Lagos to Abuja. And finally, it was realized during the Babangida time, another northerner, and cemented by Abacha when he was there, when he started to be building infrastructure, heavy infrastructure there, using our oil money.
Sorry, my friend, kindly let me interrupt you. I need your permission.
Go on, please.
Yes, on Arise TV, there's a man they call Shobo Wale. They interviewed a number of times. He explained this thing. During Murtala, in those days, in the Supreme Military Council, they decided that the capital should be moved from Lagos to Abuja, a centrally located place. By then, I was in high school. We thought they were going to use Lokoja as a capital, but they went for a virgin ground, that's Abuja. Now, there was a committee set up, and one of the members, according to Shobowale, is a man they call Ty Solarin of Mayflower College in Kenya of those days. The man is dead now. They all agreed that it should be moved from Lagos to where it is now. So it's not just a question of Murtala Mohammed himself unilaterally compelling people to move the capital there. But the issue now is the capital city of Nigeria belongs to all Nigerians. It's not a property of Arewa Consultative Forum. So if Nigerians decide that certain key, what's it called, parastatals should be moved to any other part of the country, it is not a tribal organization that should be counteracting the president of the republic. Tinubu is not my man. But so far, this move he has taken, he deserves to be congratulated for what for what he's doing. So that's just it. So it's not just that it's not Murtala Mohammed who just unilaterally took the decision. It was agreed among all Nigerians. There were newspaper publications. They were even
I don't agree with you. I said it was agreed. No. It was not agreed. But you see, that's you see, when we no, you said something now. Let me just interrupt you. Okay, go on.
Sorry, please. I'm very sorry. There were newspaper publications those days. They were even suggesting what should the capital be called. People were talking about Panama City, capital of Panama. I think Guatemala City. They were suggesting names before they keyed in on Abuja. So it's not just that Murtala Mohammed himself did it unilaterally. No, that's the point. So thank you very much. You may continue.
Yeah, you see, Mr. James, you see, again, this is what we're saying, Again, we want to talk about the 1999 Constitution. When you talk about it, some people say, no.
Just hold on. Let's hear from Jonaba. I think it's back.
He's not ready to talk. They ask him to talk, he don't talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Jonaba, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, on politics. How are you?
Fine.
Brother James, it's good to see you after a long while.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and the other fellow. I think you guys are talking about series of issues about the one that I've had so far was the revolution and the move of some of these things to FAAN and the CBN to Lagos, right? Am I right?
Yes, you are right.
Yes, that one too, and the opposition party.
Okay. When we talk about the revolution and we talk about how the revolution took place in Lagos or any part of the east or west, and the northern youth do not get involved. My explanation to people that have that, which is the truth, is that it's not a united issue. What causes that SARS was the behavior of the SARS in that part of the area, stop and search, stereotype of looking at you and call you Yahoo boy, and do all of those things were going on in that area. So it's not something in general. The police and the of SARS in the north they can't do that because that is not the setup there. And even at all they try it, the way the setup is in the north, there's what is called a leader in a certain area called Alikali, which means if you stop my child and harass him anyhow, he will go and report it to the Alikali, and then the Alikali will approach the police station or the DPO of that area that my child was harassed by police. In most cases, they can even protest if the police to be removed or to be moved out of that area that it happened, or there will be consequences for that action. So when we talk about that, it's not that the northern youth are lazy and they don't want a change. And when we talk about also the psyche of the northern Nigerians and the east or the west, is no different. The only different thing in terms of civilization, the east and the west are more of into civilization in terms of social life. But when it comes to issue of religion, they are all the same, or even worse in the West. We have millions. The majority of the West or the Easterners are Christians, and in most cases, it's about one man show, gather millions of them and bamboozle them with religion that also tame them. So there have never been outbreaking of anything majorly that unite us. Now you mentioned about the palliative in the warehouses in the middle belt in the north, the northern leader do not keep it. So you can do you find anyone in Kano? Do you find any warehouse they say later found? They are more into serving their people than the west and the south when you talk about leadership, and that is why in most cases they gain their loyalty more than instead of rebelling. And the lifestyle, of course, is quite different, like we all know it. So, and we have to put things by understanding or trying to hear uh, from the expert of expert is that people who understand the behavior, and there are more divisive tribes in the north more than in the south or west. If you come to the east, you have that 5 states. They all speak Igbo. Then a little different cultural differences here and there, but majority of them or all of them are still called Igbo. It's not like that in the north. The Bronu are mostly Kanuri, Baburu, and all different tribes. When you come to Kaduna, the same thing. The state that are majorly outside is Kano. And with all of that, they are very liberal, which means in most cases, a non-Kano person can come and stay in Kano for some time and become a governor of Kano. So the problem we are having in Nigeria is that the elite or whatever the power or cabal, whatever you want to call them, or mafia, they, they, they are all the same. The elite is the same from the east. The eastern Nigerian right now, as much as they claim to be more of a freedom fighter, I don't think in the civilized world that whatever sense he made to the eastern that another man will order sit at home on Monday and the whole east sit involved affecting their economy, affecting the life of the people there, which means if you are sick or somebody have a medical emergency, have to be in the hospital, you cannot. If you do it in the expenses of your life. You may be killed on the road. So we have all this barbaric act in both culture across us. So if we're going to talk about Nigerian issue, then we have to speak it from the empathy and for this and speak how do we establish an institution that is fair enough and produce trust. Because naturally, the nature of human being, we are not meant to trust to that extent because we are all human beings. And mostly people go towards their interests. It's very few people, very few leaders that have that Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Go on. Mr. John Allen.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. So how about the drive? That's why.
Hello?
We dey hear you, John Abba. Well, National Man, go ahead. He's driving that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are going up and on.
But you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sorry, it's an incoming call. So when we are talking about this issue in the United of Nigeria, we should address it locally and be honest about it. So there's a disadvantage to some essence of loyalty to the people, but it also come with a service. There is a guy that came to America from Jos. He came to buy a car, and an expensive car, and he was staying in the house of a son of a Dinka. And the guy ejected him from the house, said that you cannot do this. So they also kick back on their people, not that they stay if they don't serve the community the way they should. And another thing is that we also be misled in a bigger term that we may not be able to address it today. That the form of education we have is about selling of of language. English was not the most popular language before, just like dollar today was not the most powerful currency before. So let us not saying that another people's education is not enough. There are people now, if you ask them in the north, you say, where is your brain? If they are core Arabic world, there are many people in the Arabic world that are well educated, well learned in English language or in the modern world. But we also have to feel that they do not use them to tame them. In fact, in the north, they use education to encourage them to the extent that you can have a free education in most cases by encouraging their people. And it's also it's a long walk, but there is a significant improvement in such area. And the infrastructure in the north are more better than the infrastructure when we talk about road and we talk about electricity. They are more in the north stable than in the other part of Nigeria down below. So the people actually serve their people to some certain level that they earn their trust. So these are the area we address our issue and we see what we can have in united. Right now, what unite Nigeria, just like terms of when the palliative was held by some people, is hunger. No, right now the people are pressed to the wall in terms of whatever is going on, lack of food, or people are suffering from one thing or the other. It's uniting them. So the Northerners are easy. I always tell everyone in Nigeria, the Northerners can carry out a successful revolution more than any part of Nigeria because they are the one when their head knock and they say it's over, it's over. And the only thing that in the campus, remember when there used to be this Christian fight in Kaduna, fight in Kano, fight in, it was not too common in Borno State. What common in Borno State then was a Mataseni issue. There was not too much of into religion that much. So right now, those things have now become a different movement. And they are now into what we call whether Fulani, henchmen, lamb grabbers, and all of that that is going on in the Middle Belt. But in any case, all that movement is even bigger than the way we look at it. And then to talking to what Brother James say about the Northern where the Middle Belt were body with the Hausa Fulani, and now after Fulani is turning against them. And now there is a missed opportunity within that period where they could have even had their own state. They call our past state. If we are talking about the Doma mainly, but the issue is not that they don't have the trust. Even till today, if you ask them, everybody may have their own regret, but if you ask them, who do you trust more, the east and the west, or the north? Till today, they will tell you they will choose the north, and then people to be trusted. And the reason is not because of the long-term relationship they have had, whether you call them the 19th state called the Northern state, but the issue is that it's about betraying of one another and undermining one another. It is a very difficult thing when another human being have a perception of being better than you and you do not see anything good about you. And that is a very dangerous territory to any human being that any one of us can get involved. And I don't think even you right now, if I sound disrespectful to you, knowingly, sometimes we come across unknowingly and we say things that we shouldn't. But when we come across that purposely this person have this perception about you, I think I don't think you're gonna like it. And that is it's not about education, it's about a perception. And I have seen it and I've had it over and over when you interact with people and how did they look at you? How did they respect you even while you are there or while you are not there? So it's a big thing. And we can have all our cultural differences, religious differences, and we're all supposed to be respected in our various way. But I think that is one thing that concerns the middle belt with the eastern end and the if you put them in to make a decision, they will go with the north anytime, any day. And not because they are not suffering, but at least you have to trust somebody. And when somebody says, this is what I'm going to do, you know exactly what they're going to do. It's if either you prepare to be part of them or you prepare to be out. But you cannot go into agreement with somebody, let's do this thing, and tomorrow the person withdraw from it. Even if it's hundred of years, those things, there's a flashback. So let us talk about Nigerian in the system. And when you come to the move of this CBN and I think FAAN, I don't know what Tinubu is trying to accomplish by it. But then if they keep moving our things up and down, I don't know what is trying to accomplish by it. If it is to serve the best of the economy, or it's okay. But if it is a motive of okay, I don't know. I have not had a detailed reason why they move it. But then, in the truth is that they shouldn't. All those things cost Nigerian taxpayer a lot. All those unnecessary renovations, unnecessary projects, and they are not focusing on the people. I think it's not a big. It shouldn't be a major priority, but we will see end of the day.
Yeah, if you are saying that the middle belt people trust the northerners more than the southerners, why are we complaining over what is happening in Plateau State? How many
That's what I'm
Igbos
trying
have
to tell you
invaded
from the
Plateau? How
beginning.
many Yorubas have invaded Plateau? Why are we
No,
complaining?
no, listen. And how many not? I see. We are trying to. We are dealing with two different elements here. Now we are talking about the Fulani, whether it's called a Fulani henchman or bandit or whatever is attacking the middle belt, right? Uh, those whether if they are called Fulani henchmen, remember that Fulani always only about 8% of Fulani in the whole north. So you cannot, because of 8% of people, and then the entire north. Like I said earlier, we have Kanuri, we have Babubra from Borno State, different tribes. We go to Kaduna, and all of those things. So they are not. You cannot.
I'm sorry, Mr. John. Let me use an analogy. Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Good. In this country where I live here, we have very many different kinds of snakes in the forest. And very bitter experiences have taught us that not all of them are poisonous. In fact, majority of them are harmless. But that does not mean that when we come across them, we should pet them. We get rid of them at all costs. That is just how it is over here. If 8% of a people are disturbing a whole country, and the place where they are based, the people there are not even doing enough to dislodge them or to call them to order, then extraordinary measures should be taken to end this problem once and for all. That is how I see it. You remember, during the days of Lawrence Anini in Bender State, Anini was disturbing the state. He's a Bini man by birth and upbringing. It is the same Bini people who went underground and uprooted him and his clique and everybody And on Valentine's Day, was it 1987 or thereabout, he was publicly executed by firing squad at a Kenwa firing range in Benin City. In the West, there was a notorious armed robber called self-styled Dr. Ishola Oyenusi from Okitipupa. He was executed at Lagos Bar Beach with his gang. In the East, there was this Okotoko 7 or 8. The Igbos brought these guys out and they executed them publicly. But there's a religious cleric in the North who is going to the forest to negotiate with these boys. The Northerners are giving the coverage and they're telling us not all Fulanis are bad. Who is going to take that from them?
No, Brother James, I think I understand your analogy about the snake and all of that. They are poison, they should deal with it. Now, there is issue of insecurity, and there is no excuse whatsoever that the northern, the middle belt leadership are not doing well to protect their people. And that time I was saying it, and people, because of politics was going on, and simply because Governor Otto went and endorses Peter Obi, it was sitting right with them. A man that do not pay his people for 18 months. During we all can be shifting the blame to the federal government and talk all those talk, and which is a hypocrite, is lack of dealing with the enemy in your own household, or if somebody is corrupt, is not corrupt enough if it's within your own household. There's a say that charity begins at home. The federal government give every state their own allocation, the security payment to the governor to secure their people. We all hear during that time a man came up to become a Ghani. I don't know if you heard about him from Benue State, who was going after Fulani henchmen, and Governor Otto sold him to the federal government, and they killed him openly. Okay, come, let's negotiate. Because in every community, sometimes people pick challenges and go after this kind of bad people in their community. So when we say that, of course, the federal government, we have federal, everything under the federal government in Nigeria also make it's a challenge for the governor to do some certain things. But before the Fulani henchmen, there is what is called a local weapon in my area. Everybody, I think they have, maybe your own community, bone and arrow. There are things that people can protect themselves with if they have money in their hand to defend themselves. And remember, these people come in the night to invade this community in most cases. And they do nothing more. Even the state police or whatever state security that Governor Otto formed, he didn't pay them until he left. So how do you, we have some, this thing also common, it was also in the East, but the Eastern rose to the challenge and formed some security forest, whatever.
Hello, are you there? We cannot hear you.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, we can hear you
now. Okay.
All of this thing that affecting the community, we all have one or two things to put in place. We have, like I stated earlier, we should lead by a good example as well. If whatever is attacking Benue is one thing, but we are talking about unity of purpose or progress of every Nigerian. The Easterners have their own challenges that I believe is even bigger than this challenge. I understand the number of people who have been displaced, and I've explained what is expected and how the former governor failed his own people by not even securing them. Then you're talking about, okay, we cannot complain because we are party, they are party with the northern elite. Well, it's another thing to discuss in another day. But the Easterner too, not that they look, even if the Benue people and any other person in the world, we see the civilized world, that somebody order a sit at home of 5 states, it's still the same thing. Somebody is dying in one way or the other. It's still the
No,
same. This one is a kingdom divide between its own kingdom. And I
the
think
problem,
even currently, the Yorubas, I don't think many of them are happy with the way the government is going on right now. And this is what so many people have a concern about the Bola Tinubu lifestyle. Even the other day, they are even saying now that they should give they should put a uniform on Agboro and taxes and all of that. So we all have different challenges, but the only
no,
thing can help all of us is an institution that is solid. The way Nigerian is set up now, it doesn't matter how brilliant you are and what is your vision for Nigeria, or that if you do not, if you don't belong to these three major tribes, whether you are Igbo or you are Hausa or Yoruba, that the system is fair, that if you run for president today, that the divide and control of the tribal or religious line will make you become a president. Rather, the elite now or the cabal will choose who will be the president because the people too are not united. So we have a bigger issue in all ramifications. Thank you.
may I ask a question? In Benue State, there's
Hello?
a tribe. Yeah, in Benue State, there is an ethnic group they call Idoma. Am I right? Can you hear me?
Yes, this is Doma.
Good. How will the Northerners feel if the Idoma people invade the whole of the North, ravage them, kidnap them? In fact, how will the North feel if the Idoma people are behaving the way the Fulanis are behaving now? How will the Northerners feel?
Hello?
Yes.
We can hear you. Hello.
Yes, I
Yeah,
said,
it's open for someone else to talk. Somebody can talk.
no, I asked a question. I said the Doma people are in Benue State. If the Doma people are doing what the Fulanis are doing now in the North, if the Doma people invade the North and behave the way
Okay.
the Fulanis are behaving now, how will they feel about it?
Is it a rhetorical question?
No, I want him to answer it because he seems to be justifying what is happening in the country. Maybe his line is faulty. I don't know.
Rational man, are you there?
I do hear of you. Yeah. So for me, like I said, the Nigerian matter is I mean, it's enough to cause one mental disorder. Nigeria for me, I've said it. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, one
Do
thing
not
also,
come together and talk about, do we want to be a nation?
yeah, sorry for interrupting you. One thing also I'm thinking of is this. The present African countries were formed by Europeans, not by Africans. Now we are operating the European system of government or the white man system of government. In France, it is by consensus. They just agree traditionally that they should be together. Although I think there's one place they call Alsace, Lorraine, and Corsica. I can't remember. It's long I read the French history. Anyway, the Germans, they agree on their own that they should unify. They used to be what they call, I think, sovereign. That was the time before Bismarck. They agreed unanimously that they should be together. The same thing with Britain. The same thing with most European countries, with the exception of maybe Eastern Europe, that was part of the Ottoman Empire. When the First World War ended, Woodrow Wilson's 14-point agenda created most of the countries you have in Eastern Europe today, like Poland, Bulgaria, those East European countries, they came into existence out of the Ottoman Empire. And it was by consensus. But here in Africa, we were lumped together by the white man, the Ashanti man and the Ewe man and the Hausa man in Ghana. Without consulting them, they forced them together to form a union to behave like Europeans. Now, Africans are neither Africans nor Europeans. We are neither here nor there. This is another cause of this problem. But again, I still believe that according to that book I asked you to read, I think there's a statement there that no matter how difficult a problem is, if reasonable men sit down to find a common ground, the problem can be solved. Sorry, it's not in that book. It's in another book written by the man called Space, by James Michina, Space. There's a sentence in that book that no matter how difficult a problem is, if reasonable men sit down to find a common ground, the problem can be solved. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, good. So it is up to Africans to see what they can do to collapse these present European boundaries separating us. And not just forming one country out of Africa, by consensus, we should agree on how to govern ourselves. This is where ECOWAS has failed. ECOWAS will tell you that we are unifying West Africa. Since the organization was formed in 1975, what have they accomplished? Boko Haram is dealing with the whole of northern Nigeria. Is it ISWAP or ISIS dealing with the whole of West Africa? ECOWAS could not do anything about it. Rather, when there was a coup in Niger, ECOWAS said they have a standing army which they will use to invade another African country. But they did not use that standing army to fight Boko Haram. This is because the people governing us, they are still thinking like white men while they are not white men. Unfortunately, they've ceased to be Africans. So this is one of the problems too we are grappling with. So it's up to Africans to sit down, find a common ground, to see how we can do away with these boundaries and come up with our own boundaries if we need boundaries. If we don't need boundaries, we should determine what we want. Not the white man coming here to impose his system on us to our own disadvantage. This is how I see it, my friend.
Are we still here? Hello?
Yeah,
yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, James, you know, the analogy or the example you gave, I love your school thought a lot. But the issue is that they are not govern us like the Europeans. The Europeans still have influence on them. You gave an example of what has happened recently in Niger. And I'm glad they did not make that mistake, and there was a push from all over the world, especially the black people push, because I think Bola Tinubu is the current chairman of ECOWAS, and he was the one that want to go with the Nigerian might. And this is the thing, whether we like it or not, the Northerners are more political, have understanding of consequences of their action. They also push back. If not for the Northern leaders, Tinubu could have gone to the war. And then
No, I'm sorry, Mr. John. That is not very correct. The issue is this. The entire South and the entire North, we were unanimous in condemning Tinubu's proposal to invade Niger. It's not a question of Northerners alone. We condemned it for one reason.
Yeah, you can. You condemn it.
We condemn it in the South for one reason. If we declare war on Niger, it's the same thing as declaring war on northern Nigeria because their relatives are there.
Exactly.
It's the whole South. The whole, mention one person in the South who said he supports Bola Tinubu to invade Niger.
No, the point is that when
It's
I'm
not
even
only
saying
the
the
northern, it's not
northerners,
only
no,
the
no, no, no,
northerners.
no. Let me tell you, when I say the northerners, this thing is that just like you said about is you think of declaring it on Nigeria, but they see the immediate effect of it to Kano. All the displaced people, we flooded their own state. It will be very hard. They already been dealing with that issue. Just like, except we are being dishonest, most Agboro in Lagos today, they are not Nigerian. They are not Nigerian. They are from those Benin Republic and all those places. And the reason why they are able to do that is that anything in life where you have nothing to lose, and even as an individual, if you associate with somebody that has nothing to lose, you will lose everything, they lose nothing. And that is why you see this barbaric art in whether it's in the northern part of the of Nigeria or east or west. So the issue is that when we talk about how the Nigerian people should govern themselves in their space, enough of the blaming of the European leaders. When will they grow on their own to make a decision and stick by it? And how long will it take, even without the Western interferences in our governance and in our ways of life? Can't African people grow in their own space and still do something better for their citizens, building a common infrastructure?
No, they cannot. They cannot. Let me explain. Please, if I'm talking too long, let me know because I'm losing your time.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When Kwame Nkrumah was in Ghana, the West did not let him know peace. CIA orchestrated his overthrow. Murtala Mohammed in Nigeria, the day he was killed, February 13, 1976, Suka Buka Dimka was at the British High Commission in Lagos that morning before they waylaid the man. Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe did not know peace till he died. Patrice Lumumba of Congo was killed. Mengistu Haile Mariam was lucky to relocate to Zimbabwe. I don't know if he's dead now or not. Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso did not know peace. They killed him. In the Gambia here, Yahya Jammeh did not know peace for the 22 years he was in office, despite all the monumental things the man did for the country. The West will never let you and me know peace whenever we have reasonable leaders. Are you there? Hello, are you there? Mr. Ovie. Hello?
Sorry, Mr. J.
Yeah, there's silence. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
hello?
there was
Oh,
silence.
yeah, I was here. Right. But I'm listening to you. I understand all that you have said in terms of the Western interference and removing our good leaders. But then, this is 21st century. There will always be a power struggle in this life. The Europeans are still fighting within their own area. War is still going on within Ukraine and, and Russia. There will always be a power struggle, even within the America. Even when they do a political between one party, it's about the agenda or ideology of one party than the other. But the entire system can still function. So I understand that completely. But it's time for us to at least make a better progress than what we are right now. James, you
Hello?
can go ahead. I'm listening to you though.
Yes, I heard what you said, but you see, the issue is, no matter how hard we try, we only have problems. Now, look, 2023 elections, everybody was very hopeful. I remember I was on Symphony TV discussing with people about, election matters. To my surprise, the key leaders, Kwankwaso, Peter Obi, Atiku, and what's his name, and the other man, Jagaban, they went to Chatham House in the UK to do what? I still find it difficult to understand. Why did they go to Chatham House? When I was in South Africa, there was a problem between Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma, the vice president. Despite the terrible nature of the problem, they never, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
They never allowed any foreigner, Britain, America, to interfere in that matter. Before, what is named Thabo Mbeki, constitutionally, he unilaterally removed Jacob Zuma from office as vice president. Jacob Zuma did not go out to seek foreign support. He went underground among the Zulu people, the Xhosas and the Shangani, whatever it is. He was able to stage a comeback as a president of the republic. But in the case of Nigeria, our people went to Chatham House in the UK to discuss with the white man who to govern Nigeria. You get the point? Now, if somebody else, like let's say Prince Adebayo or whatever it is, happen to win the election, these same white men will not let them know peace. They will even orchestrate a coup to remove him from office. You remember when Idiagbo was in office with, what's his name? Buhari. When the government was toppled, the man who financed it, MKO Abiola, was in the UK when the action was taking place. So you see that it is it's going to be terribly difficult for Africans to get out of this problem. It's virtually, anyway, it's a very difficult problem Africans are grappling with, Western interference in their internal affairs.
So you kind of agree with me when I said that Nigeria is it's a case.
No, you see,
By extension, all Africa too, but then Nigeria in particular, as far as our conversation is concerned. Because if Nigeria can get it right, I'm sure other African countries that look up to us would start.
no, it does not
With them
necessarily.
in line, with them in line. So
it does not necessarily follow. It does not necessarily follow. If Nigeria fails, other African countries can succeed. And if Nigeria succeeds, other African countries can fail. It does not necessarily follow.
I'm just saying that.
He's talking in terms of the large influence we have on the black continent. I think that's a good example. But like James said, we can fail and other people can choose to rise and they can rise to their own good God-given potential. But it's just like somebody you look up to disappointed you. So, and it doesn't mean that you should not live your own life to your own and find a way and live your life. It's just like we all come to this world. Maybe we are very young, we are going to school, and misfortune thing happen. You lost your parent. You can still rise up to become who you want to become. If you, in the case of Nigeria, that the whole world looking up to them all the time. But I think the other countries are even springing better than Nigeria right now. In the honest truth.
Let me make a statement. These discussions we are even having on international forum like this is inappropriate because it's like a slave plotting his escape in the presence of his master. We are discussing Nigerian problems on television being viewed worldwide. The white man is listening attentively to us. So, frankly speaking, how serious are
we don't resolve the solution. We are just talking about what is happening to us. We are not discussing, okay, the only reason why it can be like that is that when we say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do, then we are now putting ourselves out there. This is just about creating awareness. And the thing is that this has been a fundamental problem with the black people. We don't want to sell our own authenticity because we are always afraid of what somebody else will sell for us or do to us. So when we come on the forum like this, you can go and see them talking. White racists, they talk about what they are doing, what they are not there. Like in America, you can see where they go after the people march on the street. There was a march openly. Am I supporting it? No. But they are trying to say, okay, there's another race that is dominating us. And they even come to march for it. But the thing is that it's outcry of what is happening in our country. It's outcry of what is going on around the world. Even if you go to CNN and NBC right now in America, you see even Jewish people come to say what is going on there's a guy, he's a contributor in CNN. Yesterday, it's a Jewish guy. He said he grew up in this, but he says that all that is happening, his heart go for the Palestinian people, and that it may even cost him more. And there are even Jewish in Israel who are anti what is going on. So the world, we cannot continue to stay in a cave simply because we don't want white people to hear us that we are suffering. Nigerians are suffering. We are not altering any solution. We are just spinning around what is going on in our area. We are not leaders. We are not. Our leaders don't have even privacy. If they are playing, they hook up something that whatever they are going to do, the whole world is going to hear them anyway. So whatever they're going to decide in Nigeria is that there's outcry of the citizens around the world that it's time for them to get their act together. We can be better people than this. So there is whatever they plan on the ground to make sure that the citizens of Africa live to their God-given potential. Malema is going around the world on the internet everywhere. He calls it out the way it is. You know his life is at risk, but he never kept quiet. Because one thing you should know in this life is that it's either you die hard or you die in the cave of your enemy and you are nobody. So they say between the rock and the hard place. So it's either you get stuck or you push back and say, okay, if I die, at least people have heard my voice, and maybe the next generation. Oh, Martin Luther King was killed, Mark X was killed, and so many other people for pursuing of the common good for the race, for the black race. And even in America here, the beneficiary mainly are not even the African people or the black people. When anything go to the lawmaker and they fought for it in America that black people die for, the Asian, any other part of the Hispanic, anyone that come to America are beneficiary of it. And that's how the society should be. People you die for sometimes they don't even know. They may not know. Even the civil rights, you are James, you are a student of history. The civil rights in America was organized. The speech that brought Martin Luther King, I Have Your Dream, in Washington, D.C., it was organized by a gay man. No, they went to the internet and said, "Oh, he's a gay person. They should not listen to him." The white people trying to paint him, and as long as of that time, you should know how gay was then. You can imagine. So, but then he pursue and he push openly underground, organizing it. Went to the capital to let them protect them. The Capitol Police and the chief, they push against it. Watch that. Watch the movie just came out too, called The Ross. So it's powerful. That is human being. You cannot keep us perpetually under the submission to white people that they are better than us. They're going to kill us. They can't kill us because if they kill us all, then the life can be miserable for them. I'm in America. I'm still a slave. It's a modern slave. Whether you like it or not, it's a modern slave. So you can be a medical doctor, you can be governor of a state here. Even Obama that run and become a president of America, there are people that still look at himself as nobody. And you cannot let anybody determine your value as a human being. That is a first principle of life. You lay yourself down and you before you make any attempt, your morale is already crippled. And you cannot live to anything. And we can't live like that. African issue is all that concern all of us, I believe. And when people come out like this, because it's a modern way to share light on the struggles of black people, and there are so many white people that are with us in this struggle, even better than some of our people. And even from ages of fighting for human rights in America, a lot of other tribes and other white people have died in the course of it, who have an open mind that enough is enough. And even right now, you may even get a white friend that show you love, empathy to your struggle, more than even people from your own mother's womb, or your own village, or your own tribe. So it's about humanity. It's just like they say somebody do something, not everybody does wrong, not everybody, and there's no society or family or race that there are no good and bad there. It's crazy. Hello, Ove. Okay, I'll join you guys again. I see you guys, and I see James for a very long time. I say, let me stop and say hi.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed.
It's nice having you, Mr. Yaba.
Thank you very much. I will reach out.
But can you send my address?
In Nigeria, in command and started the Quran.
Okay. So look what you
say my wife coming.
Okay, I like it. Bye bye now.
All right. Yes.
I like
Amen. Abi. Now,
so
give the comparison going.
My brother, it's you said what? You say something?
No. I say now they keep the conversation going. If not,
yeah, I say I won't bounce now very soon. I mean, just say my own piece. Then I go. Right. You see, for me, the Nigerian matter, it defies logic sometimes. I mean, not even sometimes, most times. It just defies logic. Something where everybody they look like this. We look at like this, we look and say, we can see this thing, say this thing no be red. This thing not blue. But some people they say no, not red. Not red. Just imagine that red. Just leave them. You know, we're not saying that blue, but just assume that's not red. Oh God. I mean, it's just people just rationalize anything, make you want to believe anything, accept anything. That is why we're not just, I mean, like there's somebody said, until we answer that question, do we want to be together? That's the first thing we should be asking first. Because it's from that question we know what to do. We answer so many other questions. Do we want to be together? And if our answers are yes, we want to be together, then the next question will be, how do you want to be together? At least we answered one question. Yes, you want to be together. Let every ethnic group go and discuss among themselves. The same could be together. Oh, now everybody, Shina says same could be together. More put into referendum. Yorubas want to be part of this union. Igbos want to be part of this union. Hausa, Middle Belt, all of you want to be part of the union. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody say yes, yes, yes. If Igbo says no, okay, let them go. The ones people who say they want to be part of it, let them be part of it. Now, how do we want to be together? How do we want to be part of this union? Okay, want to be part of this union? Okay, everybody will go regional. Then we'll have one federal system. We're going to rotate them among ourselves. Fine. Then we start answering so many other questions. But then, if we don't answer the first question rather, other questions that would have to come, that needs to be answered after we answer the first questions, might not ever see the light of day. And if we want to continue maintaining the status quo, forget it. It's just a matter of time. Either in our own generation, in our own time, during our own time, while we're still alive, or maybe our kids, our grandkids, at some point, they will come to see that this thing is not working. They need to hit the reset button for this. So maybe in our lifetime, in our own lifetime, it's going to happen. Well, we shall wait. We just have to wait and see, because Nigeria is not moving anywhere. This constitution that is shrouded in one ethnic group wanting to dominate over the others. I mean, as long as we always bring this ethnic thing into the polity of Nigeria, we're not moving forward, and we will never move forward. Okay, I end it that way. I hope to join you next time in the next session. If you
see, if you are waiting for the ruling class to organize a referendum, we will wait from now till eternity. The present vice president, when they talked with something about restructuring some time ago, the statement he said, "Restructure my foot." So is this the man you are going to meet to discuss the future of Nigeria? You get the point.
Boss says it's a person that he said, once upon a time in the past, he has always advocated for National Sovereignty Conference.
Look, how many conferences have we held? What has come out of it?
So
this is just to keep the people busy. Then it will be business as usual.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of time before it will snap.
No, anyway,
is Nigeria not already disintegrating already?
It's all. I mean, find time to check the meaning of failed state on Google. You understand what I mean?
I studied international studies.
Oh,
so
very good.
I know what you're talking about. I don't need to Google it.
Please forgive me because you mentioned it earlier on. Very good. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Nigeria is already a failed state. The country has collapsed. As I always say, if you want to drink water in Nigeria now, in your house, you drill a borehole. If you want good health, you go to private clinic. If you want good schools for your children, you go to private schools. Sanitation day, government will use horsewhip on you and me to clean government street. I hope you are following me. If you want electricity, you must buy a generator. If you want security, the police cannot guarantee it. If you want justice, if you want security, you need your private security guard. If you want justice, you go and bribe lawyers. According to Showore said, for you to win a case in court, you need 2 sets of lawyers. The first set are those who understand the law very well. And the other set would be those who understand or who know the judge at home very well. That is when you can win a case in a Nigerian court. So all these are features of a failed state. Warlords are taking over the country. If the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is under attack, there's one English poet, I can't remember his name, is it English or Irish? Chaucer. He said, if gold rusts, what will iron do? If Abuja is under attack, what will happen to Abakaleke, Okitipupa, Benin City, Port Harcourt? I mean, so the country is already collapsed, but it has not been officially recognized or acknowledge that the country has collapsed. This is why you and me are here talking today. So this is how I see the show. So the best thing we have to do now, the leaders of thought behind the scenes should be thinking of how to govern the people if the collapse of Nigeria is officially recognized. Because a situation whereby the people will not be plunged into anarchy, in addition to the sufferings they are going through right now, it will be clearly unbearable. So now is the time for different ethnic groups to go behind the scene to discuss if Nigeria collapses eventually, what do we do? Because the way the people will be governed will determine quite a lot of things. Thank you very much, my friend.
It's nice talking to you, Mr. James. Ovie, our convener.
Yeah.
The convener of the honor politics. Ovie.
Thank you very much for your time and for all your contribution. I know the audience there are learning a lot as much as I am. Thank you guys for all your submission. I think your Mr. James, your last submission about that they should collectively agree that the country has failed or collapsed. I don't think if the first thing the president does when coming in is to swear to maintain the constitution as it is. So any president that admit that that the country has failed, that means he has failed. I don't think anybody wants to go out to admit in public that he has failed. So I think that's where we have the another problem we will get to that. We just have to force things happen. If we are waiting for these people to admit, say something is wrong and we should configure it, it go hard. I think we don't pass that stage. In our force it will be. Or a revolutionary government, as you always recommend. Anyway, thank you guys. Hopefully we'll be here again tomorrow.
Okay, goodbye.
Good night. Please like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Ciao.